even though you're not, you haven't been called up, you're not, all you're doing is training, you're still doing that in your capacity as a service member of the United States. So this constitutes active duty, even if all you're doing is training.
And it also includes the boot camp period too, because I know a lot of times they'll have that initial boot camp period and you go through that initial training. That is considered active duty for training. And then after that initial boot camp, you have those weekend trainings once a month. Or I know there's sometimes where you'll have a 2 week training period. Any time where you're being called for that, it's considered active duty. So you really need to be conscious of any injury that you have during that time.
Absolutely. And the reason being is essentially something that I think we both learned over the course of our work here. It's made me fearful in the future every time I have an injury is even injuries that seem small in the moment, they might seem to heal or resolve. If it's a certain type of injury, that's something that you're going to carry with you for the rest of your life. That you may end up, maybe you twisted your ankle when you were 25, but by the time you're 40 and you've been walking on your ankle and maybe developing a little bit of a limp,
Mhm.
compensating for the pain, maybe it's made it easier to retwist and re-injure.
Let's
That adds up.
let's say that you are lifting something really heavy and you hurt your back. And then for the rest of the weekend, you're carrying heavy rucksacks. And then the next month, the pain went away. You didn't go and see anyone because you don't want to seem weak. And then, even though you think that it healed, it comes back the next month.
Mhm.
And then over time, I mean, you don't know what could have happened. It could have been a tear in the soft tissue, or you could have herniated a disc. They have to have surgery for your back. It's very important to report these things during training.
Yes, absolutely. Especially like we're saying with the active duty training periods, when you're not maybe on active duty for a period of years at a time, it's just these weekends. Just like Allison said, it's very common for the VA to come back and say, well, this injury, you're only training for, 1 weekend a month. Like this injury surely happened when you were doing something else. You weren't on active duty. But unfortunately, this is basically what the VA requires is you have to show that this condition had its inception during your active duty training.